Alright, we're back for another reflection video. Yay. This is for tuba this time, and I have the questions pulled up right here, and we're just going to talk through these again. I will say this was one of my more negative experiences with an instrument so far, so here we go. What did you enjoy about playing, practicing, and learning your instrument? Well, not much. I went into this with a really open mind about, I knew it would be entirely different than trumpet playing. I went into it with a very open mind, and I really wanted to learn how to play tuba, not well, but like enough, I guess. I was really excited to learn about this different instrument, and I just was really frustrated the whole time. I mean, the first whole week, I felt like I was going to pass out anytime I was playing the tuba. It's also, it was super frustrating every time in class we would play. Your sound goes straight up to the ceiling, so you can't hear yourself, and there's so many other people in this class, in this tiny room, that get the instrument right away, that just feel like that gives them free rein to just blast away. And for someone who's trying really hard, that cares about learning the instrument properly, that was extremely frustrating because I couldn't hear myself. I knew I was hitting the partials wrong because I could feel that in the mouthpiece, and I could hear the crunch, but I didn't know where I was. So any note identification went out the window, and it was just an extremely aggravating process to try to learn this instrument that I couldn't hear myself play, but knew I was struggling with. I mean, I felt like I was going to pass out all the time just because of the air that it took. I didn't feel like I was learning a lot about this particular instrument because, you know, other people might not have struggled as much, and it was just a very aggravating experience. I guess that kind of really went on to the second question. What did you find frustrating? Which was the whole thing. Yeah, I got really frustrated this entire rotation. I did, however, I will say the positives that I could take away. I figured out I'm a pretty small person to hold a tuba. I figured out comfortable ways to sit with the instrument that other people didn't have to deal with. I figured out ways of carrying the tuba that were not as tiring. I figured out ways to get it up and off the ground in a simple manner. Those were small victories in this rotation. So I feel like when I'm teaching, I'll be able to encourage anyone who is a little bit of a smaller student that wants to play tuba. I feel like I have some tools that I could give them that will help them not shy away from the instrument, which is really, really a good takeaway, I guess, as a music educator. What strategies or tips helped me become a better brass player and teacher? This one was tough because, again, I feel like I didn't get a lot of information on this instrument. Even after asking people that play tuba, even after doing I reached out to people I've marched with that play tuba. I reached out to people at the school that play tuba, and a lot of them just said, "Oh yeah, that's a problem," and carried on. And I feel very frustrated by this whole thing. You know, I couldn't get my video assignments done in time for this one because of some other things, but even if I had been able to, I feel confident turning those in. I just don't feel like I have any sense of control over the instrument. Reading the music is extremely difficult for me because it's bass clef and very, very low in the staff. I mean, below the staff. That's stuff I'm not used to reading whatsoever as a trumpet player. And I didn't feel like I had a lot of opportunities to build on that in class or just in general, outside of class, anything like that. So I don't feel confident in those abilities. I feel, I guess, from all of the struggles that I have and from the lack of experience that I had, I can move forward and give those experiences to people that might be in my situation, or when I'm teaching them, I can give them what I didn't get so that they don't run into the same problems that I did. Yeah, it's a lot of learning from the things that I didn't get, which is sort of backwards, but you have to do sometimes. So yeah, I mean, the whole tuba rotation was extremely frustrating for me. I mean, I could keep saying that, but everything was just, I mean, yes, I feel like I didn't learn anything new, and that's the most frustrating point in this. Like, I knew it would take more air. I knew you had to be relaxed. All this stuff I knew, I already knew. And then it was like, oh, now you just apply that. Oh, you know that? Cool, just apply it. But when I can't physically apply it because I'm struggling so much with reading the music, figuring out the actual fingerings, going from treble clef to bass clef, and that just, the range, it's going from, top end brass instrument to the lowest. That's a big challenge, and I don't feel that I learned enough to do that properly. So, very frustrating 3 weeks on this instrument, but definitely learned some key things that I'll use in my teaching moving forward. So, not all is lost. How do you anticipate the next rotation will progress? I'm on euphonium now. We just started. The amount of time I had on it so far has been 2 days, and it's really easy, in my opinion, because all the fingerings line up with the trumpet fingerings pretty much exactly, and the mouthpiece feels a lot like a trombone mouthpiece, and trombone went very well for me. So I will say it's a little awkward because I'm not on a concert euphonium. I'm on one of the ones that like 100 uses. And I tried out, Jonah has a concert one, and it plays so much nicer. It's so much more open and everything to use the upright one instead of the one that I'm using. So that's definitely a little bit of a barrier for certain things, but it's cool to like learn how to play this thing and hold this awkward instrument that hopefully I never have to hold again after this rotation. But I think euphonium's gonna go fine. It's a fun instrument so far. It's like, it has the ease of playing a trumpet that I'm used to, but it's a completely different register of instrument, so it's pretty fun. What do you hope to improve upon during the next rotation? I hope to improve on my practice habits. I kind of fell away from that because I hated tuba so much that I just didn't want to play it. But euphonium is more fun so far, and I feel like I'll be able to manage practicing that a little bit better, especially because we don't have spring break too. That threw another wrench in the whole tuba rotation. We can't do anything about that, but now that we're here for the rest of the semester, it should go better. And marching euphonium is really cool. I have some really good friends that are euphonium players, so it'll be kind of fun to learn this, and then maybe, like, I don't know, send them videos of me playing their music, and they're gonna be like, what do you mean you can play that? And it'll be really fun. And then, how do you plan to practice more effectively? My goal for this, since the fingerings aren't terribly difficult, and the whole process isn't terribly difficult so far, I really want to maximize practicing the fundamentals of this instrument, because I think some kids, when they're in band, are afraid of euphonium, and they don't want to play euphonium because they think it's boring or it's too weird, and so they think it's too weird, so it's too challenging. Or there's always pressure in like high school settings. It's like, oh, you have to be really good to play euphonium. At least it was when I was growing up. So I really want to focus on the fundamentals so that way when I'm teaching, I can give my students the best possible information to give them the confidence to play euphonium well. So it's going to be a lot of flow studies, lip slurs, just figuring out the ins and outs of the instrument. It's going to be a little bit different too, like I said, because I'm on the different model, but at least knowing some of the fundamental challenges of the instrument will be beneficial in the end. So here's to euphonium, and here's to being done with tuba.